twitch. I'ma be rich. I'll make the beat switch. I'ma be bitch.
Happy day, Vibe Tribe. Rocking with your favorite friendly entertainer. Stiggity motivator with the vibes that are greater. That is your girl and your Odyssey. Turn on some lights. Oh, it's bright. It is bright. Bright and shiny day. So
I'ma be bitch. I'm the bad twitch. I'ma be rich. I'll make the beat switch.
stiggity. Happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day.
I'ma be rich.
When your Odyssey calls. And your Odyssey calls. Oh, happy days. Oh, happy days. Stiggity. You never tried LSD, salvia, or shrooms? Salvia is DMT's bitchy sister. You're only good with writing here. I'm good with reading from here. This is an organic double cheeseburger. So sometimes people watch other people's streams so they could read their chat. And I watch this so I could read my chat. Because I've been on so many different platforms, and all the different platforms that I've been on, everyone had found Lo-Fi Girl as the central area to meet, to, you know, to stay in touch with me. Through stream, I have two phones, one for the plug and one for the load. So, I was supposed to be at the beach already. I was gonna ride to the beach and with a friend of mine, and then we were gonna drive 2 cars back. And I don't know, you know, something in the meantime, my friend that was going to ride with me already rode down there, so they're going to leave 1 car there and then ride the 1 car back, a different car back. So for 4 continuous days, I have been speaking in the Discord. It's been a while since, I've just spent time with you guys and chatted. I'm your wife. I have some good comments. I'm just joshing. You guys always have good comments. Like I said, I'm just joshing. Y'all be very precise with how you guys work. You lurk. Oh, or Hackermans. Oh, Hackermans. Oh, peace be upon you. May peace be upon you. So skinny, you're a little pro. Pearls are similar to diamonds. They're produced from the pressure of the heaviness of the water. I think water might be the most heaviest substance known to man. And one of the most important substances known to man. I still look like I just walked off the reservation. If you know the story, of Christopher Columbus and his travels to Puerto Rico, what was known back then as Española, someone says the deepest part of the ocean is 36,000 feet. And you can't drink ocean water. It'll drive you crazy. It's similar to having mercury poisoning because it'll make you crazy. Challenger Deep, the Mariana Trench. Well, do you know where that's located? I wish you get admission to school soon. To medical college. Medical college. Stiggity stiggity. And you can know all the tricks of the trade. It's off the coast of California. So some of the deepest parts of the ocean are off the coast of California. It's not speaking illegally. I bet you there's a bunch of pearls there. I don't know how deep, what the deepest diver has dove. Scuba diver, because 35,000 feet underwater, that's a lot of water pressure. And it's weird because gravity pushes down on the water and the water is already heavy. It's contained. I guess it's contained from gravity. What's pounds? I don't know if that's pounds per second. Pounds per square inch. Pounds per square inch. Ooh! I got a mobile case for my phone today. I shall use your name in my dumb conversation. All I want. Alright, the installation guide. Alright. So, don't you just pop it in there? No. Oh gosh. How does this work? Oh, alright. Pop this in. Alright. Phone. Pop the front on. Pop the back on. Cool, this is my new phone case. Nice. So, that's her seek to attention. If it testifies, and a phone case that has a flap to cover the camera lens. It's pretty cool. It has a little slide thing that covers the camera lens. Oh, Spicy, thank you. Thank you for the key. The key to my heart. Thank you, Spicy. I thought you must have been saying about illegal things around fantasies. No, we were mentioning how young girls have their periods early, and we were mentioning how people have, sex at an earlier age, and seemingly things and stuff and such around, girls having sex at an early age, and how that might affect society, and how society is affected, through the population, and the population is affected through society, and society's lens. There's a bunch of younger people that are content creators, and that it's not necessarily a thing that it doesn't enlighten our society. As a matter of fact, I think it pushes our society back like 3 steps, because there is so much more to study, there's so much more life for these kids to live, yet we are, even so, older folks are basing their knowledge base off of the content creation of younger people. And I was mentioning, to Spice, because Spice is older than me, that he has a more connection with younger folks, and he has a very wide range, eclectic know-how about how to interface with society and how to interface with people. And so I was saying that, I was also mentioning that, girls having their period early is seemingly the same as girls watching, content creators at an early age, and guys watching content creators at an early age. I know there was this one guy that he is younger than me, and we get along really great, and he's been probably watching me since he was, in maybe middle school, and he has a very eclectic knowledge base also, because he's been watching me in particular, and there's so many other people that are, that people are solely watching, and, to solely watch, some people maybe around your age that have success through content creation, and realizing that effect on society, because everyone has a different personality. Whenever you're at a party, you'll notice people with similar personalities flocking to each other, and whenever there is a party, you would realize that birds of a feather flock together. And, for birds of a feather to flock together, you would have to realize that there's a lot more than just genetic coding that has to do with how our society is operating, and how our society is, being, because, our society is really dependent on content creation nowadays, and that has been people's way to be out of depression, to be out of with depression being led by attention span, and attention span being led by the quality and worth of what people have to offer, as far as things to talk about, and things to chatter about, and things to be better in the future about, to be better in the future about talking more to chat, because some people, they just have self-talk, and self-talk you can only really connect so many things to self-talk, because whenever you're having self-talk, you are not necessarily paying attention to the chat and what the chat has to offer. The chat has to offer insight. The chat has to offer a third person perspective, and the chat has to offer a second person perspective. If you're saying something of worth, and if your worth is saying something, and if your worth and I know that my worth intrinsically, it says stuff. It makes things happen. I know that from my stream, from my brain to my mouth, from my mouth to the computer, from the computer to the world, from the world back to me, to reflect on how and what and who and what and where and when. When is in the chat, and all the times I joke with him, and I'm like, all you're missing is the who, what, or all you're missing is the who, when, and where. Because what is in the chat, what is a moderator, and I would imagine that, this stream is different to most streams. Yes, I have a unique name, Enurodyssey. I was supposed to be in Myrtle Beach, so, I'm here with y'all for another episode, of Everything and Your Odyssey. And Everything and Your Odyssey has to do with me and my reflection of myself and my reflection of myself to y'all, you know? And to know that so much good comes from this stream, so much good, you know, comes from me ranting, and so much good comes from me just being me. And that is amazing, you know, that really is amazing. I know that sometimes you guys wait for me to stream because, you know, freaking A, whenever you have only so much things that you can interact with online, and then you have me that you can interact with online, I know that whenever I'm at a party, people flock to me. It's just something natural. It's my personality, it's my aura. You know, I give out that good vibration, and you know, you can find your usernames here. You can find your usernames, you know, Hackerman status. You know, I know that I probably have the most hackers in the chat than any other chat, and that is, you know, a show of, you know, that is a show of courage. That is a show of, you know, independence. That is a show of courageousness, you know, because gosh golly gee willikers, to be so courageous as to speak in a chat that you know that I'm going to read and respond to is just so courageous. It's as courageous as, you know, wearing your underwear on the outside of your pants. That is courageous. I'm not sure if you guys ever watch Captain Underpants. Captain Underpants is, I am a girl, if you were wondering. I know, you know, I have my bad days, I have my good days, you know, of beauty and all that stuffs and things. That is just a part of who I am. You know, my looks are just a part of who I am. And, you know, to realize that I'm willing to, you know, you know, co-create with you guys, and to co-create with, you know, people in the Discord. Now today, you know, I was thinking that maybe we have some time together to read stiggity chat, you know, tomato, you know, people say things so many different ways that, you know, whenever your best friend comes through and is coming through for you to, you know, to enthuse your comments and to make your comments more desirable for whenever I'm not online. You know, I know that y'all be fucking with people sometimes. And you know what? Better yet, you guys fuck with each other. And that's what I love about this chat. This is what I love about, you know, my platform. You know? Because I could be like this. I could be reading the chat like this, you know? And I could be not displaying your guys' chat. I could be just sitting here talking, and you know what I'm saying, it being in my own zone, you know, and watching my stream on my phone, you know, and you know, that's cool. I know now that my stream is synced because, you know, I just went like that, and then that was the cover photo that was on Twitch. And I'm so happy. I'm proud to be myself. I'm proud that myself is something significant to many people, and I'm proud that people are realizing the significance. And, you know, from a small chat to a big chat, from, you know, a small chat to a big chat, becoming a bigger streamer, becoming a more known streamer, becoming known for different things. I was known because I was in a platonic relationship with another streamer, and it was just because our personalities were so, meshed so well. And, at the time, we were both not really in the mindset to be in, like, serious relationship, but we made it work. We made conversation with each other and connecting with each other on a daily basis something that brought us joy and happiness. And freaking A, that is something special. Now for me to do that with chat is something special also, because for me to realize that I've come so far, as far as content creation and as far as putting myself out there to the world, it is, it's from a smaller platform to a bigger platform. I moved from a smaller platform to an even smaller platform before. And then, my personality shined through. I became one of the faces of the platform. And that would be amazing to do that again. To move over to Twitch, which is a bigger platform, and be, a face that someone unrecommended, that you can feel stiggity, you can feel happy, you can feel excited to jump into my streams and to watch me, do my thing. Watch me blabber, watch me, talk about the news, talk about my life, talk about y'all's lives, talk about the comments that I read, talk about all sorts of things. It's really a fucking blessing, man. And I'm so proud of this platform now, that is more than considering me, that is being considerate of me, that is being considerate of my feelings, that is being considerate of my persona, that is being considerate of my image, that is being considerate of how my image, manifests, that there's always, a presence in my chat, and the presence in my chat brings more presence. It brings a sense of community. It brings a sense of love. It brings a sense of hugs. It brings a sense of snuggling, It brings so many senses of, so many reasons to be proud of who I am and how far I've come when in this whole content creation world, and to keep on trying and to keep on, every day try a little bit harder, try a little bit smarter, try a little bit, more fancy, try a little bit more beautiful, maybe have my makeup done already before I stream, so I'm not on stream and, put on my mascara. Those are things that I think that you guys enjoy, is the little things about my stream that makes my stream, because you will not catch any girl on Twitch, that starts stream without their makeup completely done and ready, for lights, camera, and action, and to realize that I'm utilizing that light, and I'm utilizing the light from the window that I'm sitting by to create this, this show for you guys, and to be kind of on the road, kind of studying other places and other things, and realizing how much, people interact with other people, and how much, people interact with me. People interact with me, through means of the Lo-Fi Girl Beats chat, because I have been Jenny Beats forever, and Lo-Fi Girl is just one of my channels that I could turn on at any point in time, and whether it's on cam chat or off cam chat, it's always something that brightens up my day and makes me a little bit happier about everything, about life, and about my situation as a streamer. To grow my situation as a streamer to an even bigger audience, is something that I feel always has kind of been a low-key part of my agenda. Beyond low-key, it's just kind of obvious that, I have been waiting to hear from Social Security because of, an emotional, mental disability having to do with, bipolar and, manic anxiety and stuff like that. And most people, they have manic anxiety from streaming. Most people, they have, they are, and I think, I wouldn't say most people are manic anxiety. I would mention that, streaming can be an anxious, a thing that it, creates anxiousness, but it actually really calms me down, and it really centers me, and it grounds me to my, deepest sentiment of who I am. And what do you know about, having trauma and traumatic situations play out ever since you were a child? Everyone is different whenever it comes to life and how life reflects through the TV screen. And to have life so abundantly reflect back to you so abundantly has been something amazing. It's been a journey. And to realize that to realize the chat that I'm reading, and to realize that that it is reading to me. It requires probably a few months or a few years of streaming to realize who, what, when, where, and why people are trying to break the fourth wall to connect with you. Meanwhile, fourth wall has been broken, and I've been, talking with chat. I was talking about my height. I said I was 5'7" the other day, and in the chat, somebody was talking about height, and they were 5'7". We are listening to each other, and we are really, correlating, corresponding. We are really, being something bigger. We are really being not an illusion. We are being the imprint of, of what people want to be. And that's amazing. How many people have watched my streams and they've become better people because a part of my personality kind of rubs off on them. Part of their personality becomes a little bit better, and they become more enjoyable to talk to, more enjoyable their comments to read, more enjoyable whenever they're on their streams. And that's why whenever I had my trolling streams, people were listening and tuning into my stream. I wouldn't have been, of a therapically sound mind to have those streams unless, the whatever podcast wasn't already tuned into my stream so I could interact with all those people. And, the same way that I interact with the Lo-Fi Girl chat, And I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful. It's been a long time coming. And still, yay. It's, it is, come to a point that we are really doing big things. We are, to do big things, may be just from this stream. Us interacting. Something big. And my mom, I texted her, and she made me a pot of coffee. And, I'm happy about that because I would have to pause stream and make a pot of coffee. And that requires a lot of minutes. And, that's just too much time away from you guys. Yeah, exactly. Will I see you again? That's just too much time, away from you guys to make a pot of coffee. So that's why I try to prepare streams so that, I have me a pot of coffee, that I've had my meds and all this stuff and things. I was up in arms, I was like, oh man, my meds dull my personality. Really, they don't. They just help with my mood. They help to keep my mood at a stable, at a stable plateau. My podcast is another thing, and I'm about to be restarting my podcast, because I'm just so happy to be back. I'm so happy to be me. In a few days, I'll be done with my classes. I'm just so happy. It's been 4 months, since I've been, kind of able to touch a drug, to touch a drink of alcohol. So I've been living off of y'all, that being my streams to y'all, for y'all, and been living off of caffeine and nicotine this whole time. I feel better whenever I have a target audience, and then I feel better whenever I have my target audience is working with me, to create something more enjoyable, That is stiggity. It is kind of a gray area of streaming because, most people display their chats and most people are just kind of talking to themselves, So it feels good to, to be here with y'all, It feels good to be here for myself, It feels good to, for Twitch to be, having my back, and, for Twitch to be pushing me to be a better streamer, to be a better content creator, and to be a better person that people could be fans of, It feels really good. I was on UpLive, and all these other mobile streaming sites, and my fan base grew substantially fast, and to realize that people from those apps are here because of me, and they wait for me every day. They wait for me every day to stream from all across the world, you know, because I have you know, a nice sweet time that, you know, I just, you know, that I stream, and it's just stiggity. It is actually really stiggity. And to think that most people ignore the chat. You know, I wouldn't be displaying the chat if I was ignoring the chat. You know, I just know that the chat and me are saying pretty much the same thing. There's not much difference between, you know, what I'm saying and what the chat is saying at the same time. You know, to be specific, you know, to range, you know, whenever you type in a word definition, there's different words similar to that word that pop up. And that's kind of how the chat is. I'll say something and then the chat will say something so similar, you know, that we're kind of bouncing off each other. Oh, thank you so much for the kisses. Thank you so much for the love. You know, one of my friends had subscribed for 11 months. That's freaking, you know, that's amazing to me. One of my friends that was, you know, up in arms about me streaming, they're like, oh no, Jenny, you have a type of personality that people are going to take advantage of you, and, you know, and all that stuff and things. I was like, no, you really don't realize that, you know, it's such an experience for everyone, that nobody's taking advantage of me, and I'm not taking advantage of anybody. You know, to realize that we're all here, and to enjoy me is something, you know, this is why I'm wearing this crown, because, you know, I am, you know, the Queen Vibe Leia. Stiggity Slayer. No, stiggity Mayor. You know? And gosh golly gee willikers, cheers to being alive. Cheers to having such amazing content. Cheers to having, you know, having and being of etherically sound mind. To be proud of Twitch, you know, to be proud of YouTube for for hosting my content, you know, to be proud of all the places that I stream that, you know, host my content and feature me. You know, cheers to y'all. That's some good coffee. That's some good coffee. You know, Facebook, it would require people from Facebook viewing my streams and becoming fans the same way y'all are. You know, for them to be, you know, to begin to realize, you know, who I am on these platforms. You know, the same friend that said, I don't think it's a good idea that you stream, is the same friend that bought me this microphone right here, is the same friend that bought me this soundboard that I'm using right now. Shout out to that. Shout out to the fact that, you know, my mom loves my streams. My mom, you know, watches my streams on the big TV. And, you know, it makes me feel like $1 million, you know, to know that I'm doing something, and, you know, to realize that I'm doing something for not just myself, you know, whether it's, you know, 5 or 6 people that watch the video. For those 5 or 6 people, I feel as though I'm blessing their lives with a little bit of laughter, you know, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of, you know, realness, and a little bit of sentimentalness, you know? We have people laughing in the chat. We have people crying in the chat. you know, and, you know, for me to be myself and to be here, you know, I know that it's just a little bit of laughter, it's a little bit of comedy, it's a little bit of everything, you know, and, you know, to be, you know, to not be scared, you know, to not be square, you know, to not be, you know, to not be just another, you know, just another face, you know, not just to be another place, you know, to be a place of freaking dignity and stiggity, and a place of, you know, strength. You know, so much strength comes from my broadcast. So much strength comes from my, you know, my being. Gosh golly gee willikers. You know, I had to join in order to chance to at least be able to, you know, speak to me. And now we are best friends, you know, and now we are, you know, we talk to each other every freaking day. And, you know, I try every day to read y'all's chat, you know, and not everyone, you know, whenever they're in the Discord with me, they're not reading the chat, you know. I'm over here reading the chat, you know, reacting, yeah, in to know that I need you as much as you need me, you know, that we need each other. Definitely not a messy bitch. Definitely can be, you know, a messy bitch. You know, definitely can, you know, definitely can be a messy bitch sometimes. And, you know, we're definitely not messy bitches. You know, we are freaking stiggity. We are stiggity. SS and your Odyssey. Thank you for loading and joining SS and your Odyssey. Welcome. The exits are highlighted. What you don't know won't hurt you. What you do know can hurt you. What you do know about what you don't know can't hurt you. So be honest, be real, be stiggity. And ducking. Stiggity. I'm happy with my Burger King hat. Or my Burger King crown. It's not a hat, it's a crown. You shouldn't feel embarrassed. You know? You shouldn't feel embarrassed. You should be true to yourself. And being true to yourself, and being true to yourself, you know, and be stiggity. I have a freaking rush of caffeine. Woo! Carry on my wayward son. Carry on your wayward son. If you jog, then I will run. Won't you try some more? not that simple for you. Yeah, if you jog, then I will run, you know? Carry on your wayward son. Yeah, you shall carry on. You have a crush on me? You have a crush on me? Ah, that's stickity stickity. Welcome to the broadcast. We have sparkles in the broadcast. I'm not sure if you ever read that somebody made Jenny beats up, what is it? Jenny beats up sparkles? Or is it sprinkles? Right here, you're welcome. You know? Stickity stickity, huh? Let me adjust this. Oh no, I made it smaller. Yeah! Yeah! I look like the elven queen. Stickity, stickity. Now I can see my profile name. And your Odyssey. Hey, your Odyssey. And your Odyssey. It's not 11. 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven. You have plenty of options. You're just, you probably, vegetarians eat the same thing very often. To not have very many options means that your options are slim. Slim to some. Some people might say, oh, that's a lot of options you have there. And you're like, oh, I'm freaking vegetarian. It's all I can eat. Everything that I touch turns to gold. I'm kind of like Rumpelstiltskin in some ways. Instead of weaving gold from a golden thimble. What is it? He rode with a golden thimble. It was some kind of bicycle machine. Some kind of bicycle machine that it turned the hay into gold. Rumpelstiltskin of your time. Not every coffee is drunk with good kinds, but these kinds are good kinds. Drink it all. I drink it all the time. That sounded like a coffee commercial. We should be out here making coffee commercials. I kind of look like. Don't tell me that I don't look like the girl from Starbucks. The long curly hair. She's a queen, and she does this. That she has her hand. It's like she has her hands up like this. Tell me again that I don't resemble the Starbucks symbol, the Starbucks logo. Touch it once, you turn to gold. Touch it again. You're gonna be craving my touch. You're gonna be craving the touch of En Your Odyssey. Draw the logo of the Saudi crescent. Oh, I think that I can. Draw the logo of the Saudi crescent. Stiggity, stiggity. There was a thought, that I had of joining like the National Guard or something. The Air Force one. Because Queens are better. Stiggity, stiggity. That was also a dedication to that one time when we were broadcasting and we didn't know, and then something happened and it was like, oh, it was that one time. Yeah, remember that one time at band camp? Because you don't know what to say now? Your name did not change, you just have many names. I'm En Your Odyssey, I'm Jenny Beats, I'm Lucidity. You know me as Jenny Beats. You know me as Lucidity. You also know me as En Your Odyssey. I'm evolving to En Your Odyssey. I have 3 names, and one of them is Jenny, and one of them is Victoria. So whenever I start going by Victoria, or people call me Victoria, everybody's gonna know me as En Your Odyssey. They'll be like, who's Jenny? It's not embarrassing to to have your first name, to have people know your first name. My first name backwards is Erodyssey. Any is my stage name, so instead of any beats, it's any Erodyssey, En Your Odyssey. And it has it kind of rolls off the tongue. En Your Odyssey. En Your Odyssey. Me and the chat should be married already. Snowflake was talking about. She was like, when are you gonna marry someone from the chat and have babies? En Your Odyssey. And I was like, you know what? That may be a good idea. That may be a good idea. Don't you cry no more. Won't you try some more? Carry on your wayward son. We'll explore reefs when you are done. Make your weary head for rest. What is it? If you jog, then I will run. Won't you try some more? I'm the sexiest username anyway. En Your Odyssey is the sexiest username anyway. Oh my gosh, Guy J. Willigers. I have the sexiest name. No, you know, we're not fake. We're not fake. We're the realest things. We're the realest things ever since sliced bread. How dare you? I kid. So, we have been streaming for an hour and some change. I am very, very, very proud of Twitch. Very proud of Twitch. So, I want to make a sentiment to Twitch to not have my stream too long, you know, right at an hour. Perfect. Actually perfect. So,
I'ma be bitch, I'm the bad witch. I'ma be rich.
I'll make it switch.
I'ma be bitch, I'm the bad witch. I'ma be rich. I'ma be bitch, I'm the bad witch. I'ma be rich. I'ma be bitch, I'm the bad witch. I'ma be rich. I'ma be bitch, I'm the bad witch. I'ma be rich. I'ma be bitch, I'm the bad witch.
I'ma be rich. Be sure to subscribe if you aren't already, and to stay tuned. For some more Angry Odyssey content to come. Maybe featuring some people.
I'ma be bitch, I'm the bad witch. I'ma be rich.